Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shane Chartrand here with another health supplement tip for the day. So today I want to talk about signs and symptoms of magnesium deficiency. But before we get into that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit that like button. It really helps my channel to grow, and I would truly appreciate that. So let's get into signs and symptoms of magnesium deficiency. Now, why is it so important to take magnesium? And well, it's very important because a lot of adults in North America have been told that they are deficient in magnesium. Our soils aren't what they once were, so we're not necessarily getting it from the foods like we once did. And magnesium is going to have 300 different uses in your body, so it's very important for your body to get magnesium every day. So let's start off with sign and symptom number one that you may be dealing with. This is probably the most common one, is muscles that are twitching, and you have muscle cramps, mainly in your legs. A lot of times people tell me they go to bed at night and they're dealing with, their legs feel awful, they're just tight and they're tingling and there's cramping. Once you start to take magnesium about an hour before bed, you can sometimes notice it. And I've noticed there's actually liquid magnesiums out on the market. Some people tell me that the cramping can go away in as little as 20 minutes. So it really does work quickly. Magnesium is so important for your muscles, and once you start to take magnesium, your muscles start to function a lot more properly. So that is sign and symptom number one, is you're having these cramps and spasms, and that can go away by starting to take a good magnesium supplement. Supplement number two is a lot of mental disorders. Now, when I say mental disorders, I mean that can be contributed to a lot of things. The main one that a lot of people are saying is, if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, once you start to take magnesium, it's very calming to the central nervous system, and that can really help. However, some people are saying a lack of emotion can be linked to lack of magnesium, and something like mental numbness. So there's a lot of different things. So just having a mineral that you're deficient in can really contribute to a lot of poor mental health issues. So once you start to take magnesium, I'm not saying it's going to totally fix everything right away. However, they are saying with some research that if you're missing magnesium in your diet or in your body, you can be having some mental issues. So make sure to take magnesium every day. If you're especially if you're dealing with anxiety, start to take magnesium. I've dealt with anxiety for many years before taking magnesium, and it truly did help. I really do say it's a huge factor in me getting over anxiety and nervousness and everything like that. It really actually helps you to sleep too. So the next one, number three, is osteoporosis, or weak bones. Now, I always talk about this with magnesium. If you do not get enough magnesium and you're taking calcium, you're not necessarily absorbing the calcium in the right places. Calcium can actually build up, and it's very dangerous if you don't take magnesium. Now, I always say this little analogy to people that ask me why you need magnesium with your calcium. I want you to think of calcium as a passenger, and it just kind of goes onto the street and it's just waiting around building up. A whole bunch of calcium's just building up. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I use this all the time. And magnesium acts like a little cab driver. So magnesium comes along and it takes the calcium to where it needs to go. Because if you don't, and calcium just keeps building up in one area of the body, it can be extremely dangerous. It can even lead to stroke. So you always want to make sure when you are supplementing with calcium to take extra magnesium. Now that just goes for anything in general. So if you do have weak bones, you can take all the calcium you want, but it's very dangerous if you don't take it with magnesium. So I always think of that little cab driver when I'm talking about magnesium and calcium. So it really kind of transport it to where it needs to go. Probably not in those terms, but that's how I like to explain it. And people truly do, and health food stores go, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. So that's very important. Magnesium, very important for your bones. Next is muscle weakness. Again, like touching on the first thing with muscle tension and cramping. If you are weak if your muscles are feeling weak, you may want to start to take a little bit of magnesium because it is so important for your muscles. The next one is high blood pressure. Anybody that is dealing with high blood pressure oftentimes can be a sign of low magnesium. So make sure if you are dealing with high blood pressure, you're taking magnesium, because that's very important. A lot of times people say, what's the most important thing to take for high blood pressure in general? And I always say two things: omega-3 fish oil and magnesium, and that tends to help a lot of people. There's a lot of things you can take, but just start off with those two things. Of course, high blood pressure being very dangerous, always monitor it, but if you want to go the natural route, that's the two things I do recommend. And last but not least is irregular heartbeat. Your heart is a muscle, and remember, magnesium is very important for the muscles. So irregular heartbeat, start to take magnesium, and that could help it. So now comes the big question: how do you choose a magnesium? Well, it's very easy. There's two forms that I do recommend. Magnesium bisglycinate being number one. Why do I recommend it? Number one, because it is the most absorbed magnesium. So some people will say, is magnesium bisglycinate and glycinate the same thing? And the answer is yes. So just take, I take usually 140 milligrams, but most adults will take up to 200 milligrams. So 140 to 200 milligrams is a very good dose of magnesium. Now the next magnesium you may want to look into is magnesium citrate. The problem with magnesium citrate is if you take a little too much, it does give you diarrhea. So, some people will use it for regularity. However, if you're taking a supplement form and you really don't want that, you may end up having an accident if you're not careful with your magnesium. So if you want to prevent that, stick with the magnesium bisglycinate. But magnesium citrate and bisglycinate are the best. Stay away from magnesium oxide. It has very poor absorption. Magnesium chloride, that's best for skin use, for muscle, that type of thing. And then there's magnesium chelate. Magnesium chelate is actually pretty good, but that's something I'd recommend more you find in your multivitamin, that type of thing. But to supplement with a magnesium chelate, it's kind of like taking magnesium citrate with food. But yeah, just look for a bisglycinate, glycinate, or a citrate. And that's it. And take it about an hour before bed. Should help you to sleep, relaxes everything, and you'll be feeling it. Here's the thing: when you start to take magnesium, for most people, you will notice a difference in about 5 to 21 days for magnesium. Sometimes it's much sooner, but sometimes it's a little bit later, depending on what you're treating. So that's that. And that's been my health supplement tip for the day. I will see you guys in the next video, and I'm Shane Chartrand saying stay healthy and stay motivated. Talk to you later. Bye.